Benin Empire. Part 1. The Kingdom of Benin, also known as the Edo Kingdom or the Benin Empire, was a kingdom in West Africa in what is now southern Nigeria. The Kingdom of Benin's capital was Edo, now known as Benin City in Edo State. The Benin Kingdom was one of the oldest and most highly developed states in the coastal hinterland of West Africa. It was formed around the 11th century AD and lasted until it was annexed by the British Empire in 1897. The original people and founders of the Benin Kingdom, the Edo people, were initially ruled by the Agiso, meaning kings of the sky, who called their land Igadamagodo. Nearly 36 known Agiso are accounted for as rulers of this initial incarnation of the state. By the 1st century BCE, the Benin territory was partially agricultural, and it became primarily agricultural by around 500 CE, but hunting and gathering still remained important. Also by 500 CE, iron was in use by the inhabitants of the Benin territory. Benin City, formerly Edo, sprang up by around 1000 CE in a forest that could be easily defended. The dense vegetation and narrow paths made the city easy to defend against attacks. The rainforest, which Benin City is situated in, helped in the development of the city because of its vast resources: fish from rivers and creeks, animals to hunt, leaves for roofing, plants for medicine, ivory for carving and trading, and wood for boat building that could be exploited. The walls of Benin are a series of earthworks made up of banks and ditches, called iya in the Edo language in the area around present-day Benin City, the capital of present-day Edo, Nigeria. They consist of 15 kilometers, 9.3 miles, of city iya, and an estimated 16,000 kilometers, 9,900 miles, in the rural area around Benin. Some estimates suggest that the walls of Benin may have been constructed between the 13th and mid-15th century CE, and others suggest that the walls of Benin, in the Eastern region, may have been constructed during the first millennium CE. Estimates for the initial construction of the walls range from the first millennium CE to the mid-15th century CE. According to Kana, oral tradition and travelers' accounts suggest a construction date of 1450 to 1500 CE. The walls were built of a ditch and dike structure, the ditch dug to form an inner moat, with the excavated earth used to form the exterior rampart. The Benin walls were ravaged by the British in 1897, during what has come to be called the Punitive Expedition. Scattered pieces of the structure remain in Edo, with the vast majority of them being used by the locals for building purposes. Fred Pierce wrote in New Scientist. They extend for some 16,000 kilometers in all, in a mosaic of more than 500 interconnected settlement boundaries. They cover 2,510 square miles, 6,500 square kilometers, and were all dug by the Edo people. In all, they are 4 times longer than the Great Wall of China and consumed 100 times more material than the Great Pyramid of Cheops. They took an estimated 150 million hours of digging to construct and are perhaps the largest single archaeological phenomenon on the planet. Excavations at Benin City have revealed that it was already flourishing around 1200 to 1300 CE. In 1440, Oba Iwuari, also known as Iwuari the Great, came to power and expanded the borders of the former city-state. It was only at this time that the administrative center of the kingdom began to be referred to as Ubinu after the Portuguese word, and corrupted to Bini by the Itsekiri, Urhobo and Edo, who all lived together in the royal administrative center of the kingdom. The Portuguese, who arrived in an expedition led by João Afonso de Aveiro in 1485, would refer to it as Benin, and the center would become known as Benin City. The Kingdom of Benin eventually gained political strength and ascendancy over much of what is now Midwestern Nigeria. By the 17th century, the kingdom fell into decline following constant civil wars and disputes over the kingship.
This is the end of part 1, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the part 2 of this video. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button and please subscribe. Peace.